Alright. Hello friends, this is David. Welcome to another Daily Bread vlog post. So this week I decided to share a poem with all of you. It was originally meant to be a rap, but I couldn't find an instrumental to fit to it, so I'm just going to read it as a poem. And it's called Don't Forget Me. It's about an experience I had while in the village a few weeks ago, and I wrote it while I was there as well. The poem builds off some of the ideas I talked about in the Village State Part 2. Plugs, check out the link below. And it kind of like preempts some of the things that I'm going to talk about in like the Village State Part 3, hopefully to be written this weekend. So before I start, I want to shout out to all the EWB East Africa crew who pushed me to finish this poem during our retreat last weekend, and also just like supported me in sharing it for the first time last weekend as well. So without further ado, here we go. Okay. This morning I woke up 8 o'clock in my room. Swahili music is ringing on the radio. I hear the chickens and the cows, they be running round. This is how it goes down here in Georgetown. I'm sitting at the table with my brother and my mama, sipping chai with chapati, yeah, special kind of brekkie. Words are flowing like the tea down my throat, belly full I can float. Then my mama said 3 words and forget them and I won't. Wrote them in my book like a note, cause those words will stick with me till I'm back in T.O. Yeah, my mama said, don't forget me, don't forget me. When you go back home, don't forget me. And if you get that money, when you get that money, when you go back home, don't forget me. I said, Mama, forget you? I cannot. Then proceeded to resign deep into my thoughts. Now don't get caught unawares, don't you sleep on what just happened. Let's dive in, like a Christmas present, let's unpack it. Cause on the surface it's cool, nobody wants to be forgotten. But let's dig a little deeper and then we'll see what's the problem. Like why is it that my mama is feeling so insecure? Unsure, as if our time together wasn't pure. Like somehow all my memories will disappear. Wiped clear, like in my mind I was never here. Like she's a sweater tossed aside. Like she's a sweater tossed aside forever. Like for some reason, I'll forget her. Cause why she gotta say it? Don't forget me. Like mama, don't you see? I wouldn't forget you if you let me. And no, I don't have the answer. But still I gotta question all this power I'm given, this privilege not to mention. Is it my wealth, my brains, my status, or my location that put me on this pedestal, that tainted this relation? Or a system of failed aid from all these Western nations that reduced this one relationship to simply monetary, that made my mama look at me and in my eyes staring, say, don't forget me, don't forget me. And when you go back home, don't forget me. And if you get that money, and when you get that money, when you go back home, don't forget me. Now I got 2 phones, but one, you can't see it. Hidden in my bag, under my clothes, I keep it, to hide my wealth. So them dollar signs, he wouldn't see it. When you looked at me, no, I don't want to be a charity. Or an NGO, like the ones you see on TV, throwing handouts left and right, like it's all for free. I'm trying to level the field on which we play, just to say, I want you to look me in the eye, not like I'm somewhere in the sky, or in a distant galaxy, where money grows on trees and falls straight down onto me, to be passed down onto you. No, I don't want to be a charity. But waiting for a text he found it in my hand. Didn't take long to understand that I have 2 phones. Yeah, 2 phones. Okay, now that's not that bad. But I see the gears turning, something he wants to ask. A question formulating, the one I'm anticipating, sitting waiting for him to ask. And so at brekkie this morning, he said, let's do some math. 2 phones minus 1. To you, that's not so bad. And to me, that's some sweet technology. So tell me, please, does my equation hold true in your eyes too? And so I calculated in my head, and this is what I find. 2 phones minus 1 equals an iPhone 5. In the hands of my brother and his friends, with the notion that if you find a white man, all your troubles will end. That if you work hard, you're wasting time, because all you need is a rich man and you'll be fine, if you take his handouts and left behinds. And so the math does not equate. But to my brother I did state, until from school you graduate, my iPhone 5 safe will wait. Chase your dream, go be a lawyer, work hard, find an employer. You don't need me as a sponsor, don't let me be your answer. But in his thoughts I see through, in his head I hear the tune saying, don't forget me, don't forget me. When you go back home, don't forget me. And when you get that money, if you get that money, when you go back home, don't forget me. Now, before I leave for a minute, sit down, let me preach about these things that only life can teach. To the American, Canadian, European, take a listen, because on this earth, we're the ones who hold the privilege. Check yourself before the world gets wrecked. Perpetuating ideas, let them go unchecked. To the outsider should not hold the power, be it in Kenya, India, or Guatemala. And to my mama, I leave you with this one request. I may be gone, but at my behest, I ask you, don't forget me. Don't forget me. When I go back home, don't forget me. I said, don't forget me. Don't forget me. When you're home in Jora, don't forget me. Thanks, guys. Comment below on what you thought. Share thoughts. I'll also leave the lyrics below. So, yeah.